for 2 years, I only ate chicken and avocado for 3 meals a day.
Wow.
Doing the food mapping, it like gave me permission to eat again.
You got your tacos back.
I
Taco
got my
Tuesday
tacos.
is in full swing at Kelly's house.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Manuel. I am the co-host of Transform Table Talk Live. And today I'm so happy to bring you an interview with alumni from the program, Kelly. Kelly has quite the story. She is a mother of 4, and she's actually in training to become a life coach. But it's her own life that was really dealing with some big time troubles as it relates to her health. Over the last decade, she's been struggling with Hashimoto's and Raynaud's, and she thought she was getting a lot better by working with a functional medicine doctor. But she read every book there was, and she just could not get all the way there. She couldn't get the help that she truly needed because she was dealing with so many food sensitivity issues that she was only eating 2 foods. Her diet was down to 2 foods for a period of several years. And even with that, she was dealing with terrible insomnia. She was dealing with rashes, joint pain, and crushing anxiety over all of it. So she knew she needed help. And that is the reason she turned to Dr. Maggie. I cannot wait for you to see how Kelly's doing now. All right, Kelly, why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Kelly Gleason, and I'm in Arizona part-time. I live in Chicago most of the year, and I am so excited to be in Arizona because I love the sunny weather. And also I'm enjoying our coaching program that I'm doing right now. So that's what I do for fun, actually.
Tell me about the coaching program.
So I am just newly certified as a life coach. And so I'm in classes right now, and I'm enjoying working with that, with people who need to learn reinvention in their life.
Yes. So you are now trying to help others on their path to happiness and health and well-being. But it sounds like your own health kind of took the spotlight for a while at least and wasn't allowing you to do some of the things that you love. Talk to me about what had been going on with you medically.
Since 2013, I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's, and I struggled so much with basically food sensitivities. It really affected my life in such a way where I was feeling like I could only eat very few foods. And I was totally depleted in that way. For somebody who's such a foodie, I love food and I love cooking. It really took away the joy in my life, and added a lot of anxiety because I couldn't tell what was bothering me, what foods were affecting me in a way that was causing the anxiety, the joint pain, the rashes all over my body. So I felt pretty stuck.
Hi, I'm Maggie, UMD, and I'm a functional and holistic medicine physician and the creator of the Transform and Transform protocol. If you're interested in learning what are the root causes of all chronic disease, go ahead and click the link in the description where I have a power pack 30-minute training that goes over what are the 5 pillars of Transform. Go ahead, click the link, and I'll see you in that training.
I understand you had been working with functional medicine doctor. How did you come across that, and why did you decide to go that route?
I don't think I was getting the help that I needed. I saw a doctor previously, probably around 2010, and I said, I think I have a problem with gluten. I'm not feeling well. And she did a gluten test, and she said, nope, you're good. I'm like, I'm not good. So I lost a lot of faith. I felt like all the numbers in my labs that they ran said, you're fine. And I felt frustrated. So I did go towards functional medicine. I read a lot of books, did a lot of my own homework. And so I felt good when I was seeing the functional medicine doctor. I felt like, oh, finally someone understands. I got some great advice. I made a lot of progress. In those years from 2013 on, I made a lot of progress. But at a certain point, I was stuck. I know it was a few years ago, I had seen Dr. Maggie, but I was still not ready yet.
Yeah, you, I think, are one of the longest standing, we like to call them in a very loving term, stalkers.
Yes.
I was a stalker myself of Dr. Maggie for at least 2+ years. And it sounds like you and I share that in common because at the same time, you made some progress, but you're unable to eat, it sounds like, at restaurants. It sounds like when you are eating, it's a lot of anxiety because you don't know if you're going to have a bad reaction. When you would come across those kinds of reactions, what would happen to you?
Basically, I wouldn't have a reaction right away. So, it was usually that I would have a horrible night's sleep. I think, I would have all different types of either bad headaches, or I would have hot flashes, or just the insomnia where I would just be up all night.
That sounds miserable.
And it was miserable. And just because of that reason, I decided that I needed to eat only safe foods. And for 2 years, and you might find this very hard to believe, but for 2 years, I only ate chicken and avocado for 3 meals a day.
Wow. That sounds like somebody who's being almost tortured, who's only given these very, very narrow amount of foods. But I understand because so many people that are dealing with these sensitivities and autoimmunity have food trauma where you're so nervous to eat something that you don't know if you're going to have a bad reaction to. At some point, though, you must have said to yourself, I cannot go on like this anymore.
Yeah. I felt like even working with a functional medicine doctor, she got a lot of things right, but she didn't get everything right. And I thought she got me so far. So I was grateful for how far she got me. I felt that was where the missing link was. And I knew that that's what Dr. Maggie did.
If you had to think about one food that you missed the most, what was it?
I missed everything.
You missed it all.
As far as, like I said, I'm a foodie. I love going to fine dining. I like good food. I love to cook. My husband and I were in a place in our life where we liked cooking together. We were making homemade pasta together, with the big machine and all that. And then all that came down, crashing down. And I felt like it took the joy out of our life as a family.
That impacts all aspects of your life. Like I'm thinking, how do you travel when you can only eat these limited foods? Was it impacting that as well?
It was. And I think it was for our 30th wedding anniversary, we took a trip to Rome, or not Rome, to Italy. But we were in Rome, and I remember not being able to eat good food. It was just so disappointing. I can't even tell you how disappointing that was, and feeling so horrible in my body.
Getting back to the insomnia, how would you describe how much sleep you were getting?
I guess it would depend on what I ate, and I never knew what the trigger was going to be. And I think there was probably other triggers besides just the food. But sometimes I would be up for 3-4 hours at a night, during the night, and then the next day I would just feel so washed out.
That ruins the whole next day.
And also what happened too is like brain fog and other problems associated with loss of sleep too. And it probably came from eating the foods as well. I think maybe it impacted me that way as well.
Brain fog, fatigue, it all goes hand in hand. If you're not getting sleep at night, you're going to feel miserable and have these also annoying symptoms the next day. So you pulled the trigger. Did you have any reservations once you contacted Dr. Maggie's team about joining the program?
I have to tell you, I was so excited. I was so excited because I was like, oh my gosh, I know I'm going to get what I'm looking for here. I don't know why it was. And I think, this is why I'll tell you why I knew that I needed it then, because typically November and December were the worst months of my year because I'm so busy, so crazy, and I would never add one more thing to my list to do. And to add that to my list, I'm desperate.
Right, because you joined the program, you said the very end of November?
Yes.
So right around the holidays when everybody is hustling and bustling. And we didn't mention, I'm not sure if we mentioned, you're a mother of 4. You have one child who has special needs. You're a wife. You're a busy, busy woman. And you're like, you know what? This is a time commitment, but it's something I have to commit to because at this point, your life doesn't have the happiness in it that you needed.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I was so excited because I thought, even though this is going to take some time away from the holidays, I'm like, I really needed this. I really needed this program. And I wasn't willing to wait any longer. I think I was at a point in my life where I was done.
Well, you waited 7 years.
And you're probably thinking, why couldn't you wait a couple months? But no, it was time. In your body,
you're at a breaking point. And I do find that so often with people who I talk to after graduating the program, they get to this breaking point and they know that there really is nobody else out there. There is nobody else out there besides Dr. Maggie and all of her knowledge that can help. I want to hear, and I want to just jump right to it. How are you doing now? You're just a couple months out of the program. How are you sleeping?
I'm sleeping much better. I love some of the supplements that Dr. Maggie has in her program is the relaxer that we take at bedtime. Love it.
I love it too. It's so good, right?
Oh my gosh. Yes. The things that I've been taking, her supplements have really helped me feel calmer. And maybe because I'm getting my sleep now, I'm feeling better in my body. My anxiety is lessened. And I think because one of the very first things I learned in Dr. Maggie's program was about blood sugar balancing. That really, really affected my day to day.
Did
If
you
you would
think
have
you
told
could
me,
have had a blood sugar problem before this? Had that even crossed your mind, really? No.
it didn't cross my mind because when doctors had in the past had checked it, that never came up. A1C was perfect, glucose perfect. They said, you're good to go. So it never crossed my mind. What was really interesting was when I saw that what those symptoms look like, that means that your blood sugar's off, then I can relate to that. Oh, I'm hungry all the time. I'm not sleeping well at night because I'm waking up because my blood sugar is low. Then everything started to make sense. My functional medicine doctor never mentioned that. That was never something that came up in our conversations.
And isn't that so surprising? Because you think about it, and you cannot fault doctors because they're just not trained in this. And I feel the same way. Blood sugar wasn't mentioned to me at all either. And when you learn through Dr. Maggie how absolutely critical it is, it's no mistake that she puts it at the very beginning of the program, because it is that important that you start working on it right away. The basis for all of your overall health start falling into place once you really can master your blood sugar. So once you started working on that, did you notice a difference?
Yes. And I felt so much better. I think
And
that you're absolutely right. I think that was one of the biggest things I learned that changed everything for me. It changed my sleep. It changed how I felt during the day. It's just funny that's not something that even a functional medicine doctor could identify.
right. So, okay, blood sugar, that was a big game changer for you. Some of the other issues, though, the big frustration for you, the food sensitivities. How are you doing now? And are you still just eating chicken and avocado?
No, and you know what? Oh gosh. Doing the food mapping and after getting those results back, it like gave me permission to eat again.
You finally had data that you trusted.
I did. I did trust it. So I have to say carefully, tried more foods into my diet and I'm not getting reaction.
What? So no
Yeah.
reactions. Okay, I have to know, had you done any food sensitivity testing prior to this program?
Years ago I have.
Okay. And did you find it helpful?
So when I did my food testing years ago, there was tons and tons and tons of food on it. And so I decided to do the AIP diet after that because I felt that it was too hard. It was way too restrictive. And the AIP generally had things that were good for me. And also I took into consideration the foods that I had a reaction to that I knew for sure was bothering me along with the AIP diet.
The diet that you had been working with, the AIP diet, and then eventually eliminating all the way down to the chicken and avocado, obviously was extremely restrictive and not a way that you wanted to continue to live long term. And even if it was helpful, it sounds like, was AIP diet even helpful for you in feeling better?
You know, I thought it was at first, and maybe it was, and I don't think the AIP diet was meant for you to stay on it long term. I felt that the longer I was on it, the more nutritionally depleted I was because there was so many foods that I wasn't eating. And I felt like there was no diversity in my microbiome, which was also,
A lot of what we learn in the program.
yes.
So I'm so curious then to find out, what did you learn about your food sensitivities through food mapping? What foods could you not eat?
There was very few, actually,
Really?
very few.
Okay, what was it?
There was a couple, like maybe Brazil nut, cottage cheese, maybe like hemp nut. It was like 3 or 4 like really big ones that were, the higher zone.
Mhm.
But other than that, everything looked pretty good.
And so then a whole world of possibility opened up for
Yes.
you. You thought, oh my goodness, I
Mhm.
can eat that food that I had been avoiding and this food that I had been avoiding for years, it sounds like. And so I guess we're
Yeah.
contributing to you not feeling good and having the insomnia and the rashes and the joint pain in addition to
Mhm.
these foods, right? Because if it was just a few foods, there was a lot more happening.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure the blood sugar had a lot to do with it. Dr. Maggie also talks a lot about fatty liver.
Yes.
And so I'm sure there's so many other factors at play. I know she does talk a lot about drinking a lot of water. There's
Mhm.
so many factors that affect the way we feel that I pinned everything on the food. And so I think there's so many reasons why I'm feeling better now. Yes, I'm adding in more food. Yes, I'm adding in more water. Yes, I'm getting the nutrients that I need. And also, I love her program because of the fact that she adds in the mindset. No
Yeah.
doctors talk about that.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that because I know you mentioned you were dealing with anxiety, and that's not uncommon when you're dealing with
No.
food warfare, it feels like. What did you get out of the mindset portion of this program?
I well, first of all, I love the support. I love
Mm.
the pods that we had and that we got to do our mindset homework together and we can discuss it and we can talk about how each of us felt about different factors that related to our anxiety. And we shared those things in our pod. That's where most doctors, they don't even address mindset. They might say you should deal with your stress and they leave it there.
Mm.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
And Dr. Maggie doesn't leave you there. She addresses every facet to make sure that, we get all the things that we need for our healing.
Where are you on that healing journey with your mindset and your anxiety now? Are you still experiencing these strong bouts of anxiety?
I'm not. What can I attribute it to? Well, I could attribute it to also nutrient deficiencies can lead to anxiety. And maybe it's also too that I feel that everything is starting to be under control, that
Mhm.
before I felt hopeless and I don't feel hopeless anymore.
You feel confident. I can
I feel
tell.
confident I'm on the right track and I have ongoing support as well with her program. So I don't feel lost. I'm in a group of people who also understand autoimmune. I didn't have that before. A lot of times, people who don't understand autoimmune, they might think that you're hypochondriac or
Yeah, you're making it up. You don't look sick. You don't seem sick to me. How could you be having
100%.
all of these problems, Kelly?
Yeah,
I get it.
100%. And I think being in those groups, even if you don't have a question in those masterminds that we attend, there's something that is said in that group that really resonates with you, that helps you in some way that you didn't. It's a question you might not even ask.
Right.
So
But you get
I
so
loved it.
learning in that group environment, I found that to
Mhm.
be so very valuable as well, because it's
Yeah,
like you said, you are learning from each and every person who is coming before you and is asking those questions. So yeah,
absolutely.
I can completely relate.
Yes.
Okay, so you mentioned Dr. Maggie and working in the masterminds. People want to know, what is it like to work with Dr. Maggie?
I can remember the very first mastermind I attended and the knowledge that came out. And I was like you, I was writing, 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 writing. I could not stop writing. And the stuff that was coming to me, I was like, this is some interesting information that I've never heard before. I was almost giddy after I got off that first mastermind. And I know it sounds weird, but because it was information, it was like I got the secret information. It was like stuff that other doctors didn't know. And I felt so grateful. And like you said, there was people were sharing stuff and information was coming left and right, that it was a wealth of information every single time I attended one of those masterminds.
You dealt with over a decade of
Mhm.
health problems and frustrations, and you felt like you tried it all, and you read everything you could get your hands on, and you worked with
Mhm.
special doctors that you could, go outside of the bounds of conventional medicine to seek out,
Yeah.
and yet you still weren't getting all the way there. Well, it sounds to me like you were just so excited to be with Dr. Maggie because of her pure knowledge.
Yes, and you know what? You're absolutely right. Because of the fact that Dr. Maggie has autoimmune and she could really understand. I trusted her so much and I felt that she has so much to offer and she cares. You can tell how much she cares. She's very passionate about what she does and she wants the best for all of us. She's intense sometimes. And I thought, wow, she has so much passion because she cares and she wants us to know this information. She wants us to learn. And there's a lot of information and it is intense. But if you are somebody who's willing to do the work, you're going to get better.
That is going to resonate, I think, with people who might be watching this and thinking to themselves, there is a path out of this. What Kelly just said, if I'm willing to do the work, I can get better. I mean, do you truly believe that everybody who enters this program is going to see improvements if they put the work in?
100%. There's no way you cannot feel better doing everything that Dr. Maggie has asked you to implement. There's no way. You have to be feeling better. Just being in those groups and when I could hear people talking about their transformation, there were times where I was very teary-eyed and emotional just to hear their journey
Mm.
and so grateful just to be able to witness that. People who felt lost, who felt like they didn't have any hope, felt like they were going to live this way forever. The healing wasn't coming, but you know that you're gonna get there.
And what about for your own self? What about your own life? What are the emotions surrounding the fact that Kelly is better? Kelly is a new person. Kelly's not living the way she lived for the last 10 years anymore.
I have so much gratitude for the program and for Dr. Maggie, and not only for myself, it's for my family as well, because I have daughters, and she talks about, if you're a female, 80 to 90% of the time, you're going to pass that down to your daughters, your autoimmunity. And so I'm already sharing this information with my children, my daughter-in-law, anybody who wants to listen to me.
One of the questions we usually ask is, what's something that you can do effortlessly now that before the program you couldn't have dreamed of doing? And I think I can come up with what you're going to say. I mean, for one, you're sleeping through the night, and also you're enjoying the most delicious cuisine again. Tell me about what's a favorite meal you're eating now that you had missed for so many years.
So one of the things that I really miss, I love ethnic food too, but one of the things that I miss too is just eating a taco.
Yes.
I know it sounds so simple.
No.
But now it's just like there's so many things that go into it that I could not enjoy before.
You got your tacos back. Taco
I got my
Tuesday
tacos.
is in full swing at Kelly's house.
Yes.
We have now branched out significantly, and I'm sure your husband is quite pleased as well.
They're enjoying the fact that I don't tell them that I don't want to go out, because that's kind of what I had ended up being. I don't want to go out. I don't want to go to a restaurant. I don't trust food in a restaurant. But now I can make good choices in a restaurant and feel relatively good about it. So that's brought more enjoyment to my life as well.
What would you say to somebody who might be watching Dr. Maggie for many years like you did,
Yes.
or somebody new who's just come across this for the first time, who's struggling to find the help that they need?
You know what? I would tell them, don't wait. That's what I would say, because I kept thinking it was going to get better. I kept thinking I was going to read one more thing, or, I was going to see one more doctor and it was going to make a difference. And to be honest, all the knowledge that I needed for my recovery was in her program. So I would say, don't wait. I felt like I kept going from place to place, book to book, thinking that the answer was going to be here, and nothing I tried. And I think because Dr. Maggie puts it all together for you, the program is laid out in a way that you can go from step to step, and we don't miss anything. My doctors didn't cover not even a quarter of what Dr. Maggie covers in her program. So there's a lot done in a very short amount of time.
So then how do you value this program? I mean, I know for some people the cost holds them back a little bit, but it's like you're saying, you are not going to find this information anywhere else, and certainly not presented to you in this easy to understand manner, paired with personalized data specifically for you. How would you value the Transform program?
You can't put a price on your health. If you don't take care of your health now, you're going to pay for it later. So somehow down the road, you're going to pay for it if you don't take care of yourself now. I feel that you can't put a dollar amount on your joy, your happiness, your daily life of enjoyment with your family and just yourself.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share, Kelly, that we didn't touch on?
I just want to thank Dr. Maggie for doing what she's done. And I know it took her a long time. I know it took her years to put together that program, but I think that she has no idea how many people she has touched. And she has the right personality for that. Her caring and her passion is infectious. And I love the way she puts everything into her little models of teaching. Everything is taught in these little videos that is just enough information that we can understand it. We aren't doctors. It gave me the information that I needed, and in a way that I could understand it. And I think that everybody could benefit.
Kelly, amazing. I appreciate it. And I'm so happy for you. I hope you enjoy a beautiful dinner tonight full of all of those foods that you didn't eat for so many years. And you have a wonderful night's sleep tonight. And I know you will, because I'm just so happy for you that you're feeling so much better. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
So happy for Kelly that she's feeling so much better and that she's really enjoying her life again. She mentioned a couple times she had lost her happiness and her joy. She has it back. She's able to enjoy the foods, so many foods, all of the foods that she had been missing for years. And I guess what I really take away from her story is, like she said, not to wait to do this. She'd been following Dr. Maggie for 7 years before finally saying, it's time. She's the expert and she's the one who's going to once and for all solve these problems so I can go on and get back to living my life the way I want to and having joy in it. She's a mom of 4, and so she's been able to impact her children and her family through this process as well. Truly special. If you can relate to Kelly's story, or maybe you know somebody who also could use this help, tag them in this video. And if it's you that needs the help, go ahead and reach out. You'll find a link above or below this video to connect with the Transform team, start a chat with them, and get some more information. If you haven't yet liked the social media pages, go ahead and become a member. Join the community, the Transform team, and hopefully you will get a lot more information on your own path to healing and wellness.
Hi, and thank you for watching this video. If you're interested in actively looking for a solution to your problem and you'd like to work with us, I'm going to invite you to go ahead and click the link in the description to book a chat with our team. What that's going to do is it's going to bring you to a calendar, pick a time that's going to suit your needs best. It's going to be about a 15-minute phone call. After you book that call, there's going to be a link to a short questionnaire, and that's really important for you to fill out because it's for us to get to know you better and helps us to better prepare to make the most of our time together. After you fill out the short application, it's going to take you to a page where there's a couple resources. What I want you to do is go ahead and click 2 of those and watch those 2 trainings. They're going to really best prepare you for your phone call with us to make the best use of our time together. I and my team look forward to talking to you to learn more about you, to see if we are indeed a good fit to work together.